Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Cardcraft. Thanks for joining me again today. Back to our 49 and Market journal. We're going to do the cover today. It may be a long video. I'm hoping not. I've pre-cut a few things, so our signatures are all done. Today we're going to make our cover and sew in our signatures and actually finish this little guy. So I'm just going to set those aside. What I've done to start with is when I want to make a hard fabric covered journal cover. Blah. Let's try that again. I want to make a hard fabric covered cover. Yeah, let's forget it. When I'm making hardcover journals, I will use chipboard, and I'm assuming it's called chipboard everywhere. It's just this sort of stuff comes in different thicknesses. Okay, and depending on the journal that I'm doing and the look that I'm going for will depend on the thickness that I use. They come in 12 by 12 sheets, A4 size sheets, squares, all sorts of things. And I've got a selection of just about every size known to man. You can also use off the back of notebooks. You know, you get that hard chipboard cover off the back of lined notebooks. That sort of thing. You'll find them everywhere. So keep all of that. You use them for these. So with this one, get rid of that, it's a bit long. With this journal, I wanted to use this nice thick one. It's a really sturdy cover. It is, what's that? About 2-3 mil thick, or if we're going in inch-wise, 16th, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, yeah, 1/16. Okay, which doesn't sound like a lot when you're looking at it that way, but it is thicker. I have also used my little thin one, and that is, you know, I don't know what's smaller than 1/16. It's smaller anyway. About 3 of those makes up the thickness of one of those. So what I like to do is my front and my back cover in that thickness, which are these guys. I have measured them out to fit my signatures, so that when my signatures are in there, I've got a little bit top, bottom, and at the side, so that this will be close to that end. So I have 2 of those pre-cut. Now the size of those for this journal that I've done are 4 7/8 by 7 1/4. That's the size that I worked out I needed for these ones. So if you've been making this one with me, that's the size I ended up with for my cover. Now for my spine, instead of using this thickness, because I like to do a hidden spine. If I wasn't doing a hidden spine, by all means cut your spine out of the same thickness, but because I like to do a hidden spine, which means I need a spine and then I need another spine more or less on top of that. If I was using the same as this, it would create that double thickness in there, which would push my pages further out. It's just a me thing. So what I use is the thinner one, and I will cut 3 pieces. They're about 1 inch wide. Well, what I've actually done is used my metal ruler and just cut it the same width as my ruler, which is round about 1 inch. Yeah, a little bit under, but round about 1 inch. I've cut 3 of these the same height, so the 7 1/4. And then 2 of them I've glued together. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, if I'm close enough. Yes. And then the other one will become my hidden spine. So these 2, which are glued together, will go in here. A little bit of a gap between. And then there's a slight drop down. I will cover it all. And then when I go to sew my signatures in, they'll be sewn to this one, which will then be adhered down to here, and then it'll all be the same depth. I hope you get that. It's just the way I do it. Everybody does it differently, but this is the way I do it. So I've used the 2 thicknesses of chipboard. So I've got my front and my back, whichever way you want to go, and my spine. I like to have, I don't know, a couple of mil, an 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, I suppose it would be an 1/8 of an inch. I like to use my grid because, you know me, I always use my grid, so I can line everything up on my grid. So I'm going to go that way because it's easier and I can see what I'm doing. So that way I've got my side bit down here. You may not be able to see this far ahead, but you'll be able to then see all of this. It's just that that's curling up a little bit and I want it flat on the bench. So line it up with that bit and it'll be about 1/4 of an inch. This one will then get lined up on that line as well. 1/4 of an inch, sorry, an 1/8 of an inch, and that will be my spine. Right, so I'm going to cover my spine, and the fabric I'm using, if you haven't been following, is that. It's a lovely colour. It goes with this journal so beautifully, but it is very flimsy. It's got no structure to it, so it'll be, we'll see how we go. I'll play with it as much as I possibly can. When I'm doing my covers to start with, I use duct tape, which will give my spine an extra bit of oomph to hang on to. Now, the duct tape I've got, you can get lots of widths of duct tape. The duct tape I've got in this black, which is the one I tend to use the most, is 1 7/8 of an inch, or a bit over 4.5 centimetres. Because of that, it's not going to cover the whole thing in one fell swoop. I'd need at least 2 inches. Because if I sit that there, for me, there's not enough meat either side for it to bend around. So what I tend to do is do it in a couple of goes. So it's a duct tape. Oh, framers tape works as well. We're in lockdown again and I can't get any more at the moment, so we'll use the duct tape. And I'm just going to cut it larger to start with, and I will clean my scissors later on. I'm hoping these guys will still cut my fabric. Right. So if I sit that down on the line again, that way, hoping that that's straight. Using my grid as a marker again, I'm going to go up to this centre line, or close to, because I'd like it as straight as I can. All right, so I've got one piece down, using my grid again. I'm hoping you're all in shot. I've moved my camera up a little bit, yep, so that it takes in the whole of my mat. And this one I want on with about, what did we say, about 1/8 of an inch. Just about there. Try and do it straight. It's just very lightly sitting on there at the moment so that I can see that it's still at that line, still at that line. That looks fairly good, and I'll push that on. So that when they close, they will close like that. So see how it sits just in there, like we were making a box. So now we're going to do exactly the same to this side. I'll put my other bit of duct tape down here and attach it onto that one. If I can find what I did with my duct tape. Here we go. around about that long. I'm just going to butt that against the other one. I find, look, sometimes I'll overlap them, but depending on the fabric that I use, sometimes it'll show. So as this fabric is quite pliable, I'm worried that it's going to show. It probably won't, and with that colour, it'll disguise it anyway, but I just want to be double certain that it's not going to show. Right, so I've just turned this around back onto my line. I'm lining it up with this line across here, and again I want to go that 1/8 of an inch. So I start at the bottom section, line it up with that line, like that. That's lucky. You can't see my tongue sticking out while I'm putting that down. Right, so that's going to give it nice sturdy feel to your cover, and it's a really solid chipboard, as I said before. I'm just going to roll this one over. Make sure it goes in there. So it'll still bend over. Probably should have made that one a little bit longer. It's all right. All of this will be covered anyway. They're quite short. So I'm just bending it as I go. Oh, he's very short, isn't he? That's all right. Grit the teeth, Kylie. Right. So in essence, there's our cover. Okay. So that will fit those ones in there like so, down a little bit. That's a nice size, gives just a little bit over there. With any luck, because this one, yeah, that's sitting nicely. I won't need a tie actually attached to it. I may put something around it, but it's a little bit grungier for that, so I might just leave it as is, but that fits that beautifully. Right, let's cover this guy. Right, to cover them, because I'm using fabric, you can use glues, you can use Mod Podge. I don't like that. That's just me. I find with a lot of different fabrics, glues will go through and all the rest. What I did find, look, there's probably lots of other things out there. What I did find was from hardware, it's double-sided tape. It's white, it's not clear, so you need to be careful if you're using it on other things like vellum and stuff like that, because it just won't work, because it is white. It's not a clear double-sided tape because it's a hardware one. But I find it's really tacky, really strong, and this one actually came from Audi, of all places. You know, when they do their hardware sections and all the rest, that's where that came from. And that's how I cover my book. But I will start in the centre, and I always make them longer so that I can tuck it over. But I'll do my centre one so that it goes, it should be about 1 inch. If I go half and half, there and there, right. Like so. Okay, that's not half and half. Oh well. And what I'll do now is work my way down my book. I'm going to fold that one over first. Fold it nice and tight. That'll allow my fabric to fold over as well and give a nicer finish. Doesn't matter if it's a bit too long, because as well as fabric, I'm going to have paper in there, so I plan to put coffee dyed paper in here. Right, there's our first layer. So now I'll just keep going down my book, chopping these. You'd think I'd measure how long I need each one of these. Oh, that's pretty good. And again, just butt it up to the last one. I was going to put my craft mat on this actually, so it doesn't stick. That's all right. We might fold these over as we go with these ones. I quite often put my silicone mat down when I'm doing this so that I don't end up with it stuck all over my mat, my glass mat. So if I just fold them over as I go. Right, next one. Sorry if you can hear the wind whistling down and around my front door today. It is shocking. Got all my towels dry, but between rain showers, but it's coming a certain way, and it's, see what I mean about how sticky it is. But yeah, so the wind whistles when it's coming that direction, straight through around our front door. And the noise is atrocious some days. It's like a freight train. Right, so I'll go back this way and then I'll do my first bits and then we can cover. So just butting it up each time. Try not to overlap it too much. Put that all cooked in there. I want it straight. Right. Oh, see, it's a good thing my face is not on camera because I'm gritting my teeth so much when I'm pulling that over and around. That's better, Kylie. All right. I'll go back and work the edges shortly. Now we've just got our last few bits, so I'll just work my way down there on that one. Right. So these ones I will wrap around both sides, both the top and bottom and the side. Am I still in screen? Yep, beautiful. So up there. Now with this one, what I want to do is just trim down there, hopefully straight. That's not straight. Tuck that one around. Down to this one. Oh, my scissors are getting very sticky. Right. Now I need to peel this bit off for it to come over. Otherwise you'll never get that back off. German. Right. May need to, yep, I need to take that little bit off as well. And I'm just gonna tear that across like that. Same with this side. Like that. Okay, now I can nice and tight work my way down with it and flatten it out. You will end up with sore thumbs. I'll just set that back over it now so it's all nicely held in place, and then I can trim this bit off. Like so. One bit down, fold that. And then same with this one. Right on the edge. Right. One side. Fling it round. Do exactly the same to this side. Oh, sorry. Oh my word. Told you it was tough double-sided tape. And this is why I normally have my silicone mat on with me. Right. That side. Now this side I've given a bit of wobbles too, so we'll just fix that bit up. I'm just going to take it off its backing and allow it to fall flat again, like so. Trim down there. Right, now do exactly the same as we've just done on the other side. Peel some of this away, like so. Same with down this side, like that, which will allow us now to fold this one over. Move you out of the way. Stretch it tight. Don't stick it on your mat. Ugh. Told you it was sticky stuff. Luckily, fabric and paper will cover all of that. Right, trim this bit off. Close as you can to the side. Put that bit back on so that it doesn't stick to everything as I'm working, and then we can put our fabric on. Gonna have to go that way, like so. All right. All right, it still folds, still sits nicely, and now I just want to work those top areas just to make sure it's nicely down and I haven't got any air bubbles in there. Right, that's our book. Here's my fabric. I've kind of cut it down. I've cut it down to the right height. I've still got a little bit of length, but I need to be able to do my inner spine as that as well. There is no right and wrong with this. So yeah, I've got oodles. What I usually like is about, again, my ruler's width around it, but I can stick it on as long as I've got enough here to cover my other spine, which I've got oodles of. I can sit it on, stick it on, and then trim around it. The other thing I found with this fabric, it was kind of wonky, so it didn't have a defined straight weft and weave. So it may not, when I put it on, see how it doesn't matter how I did it, as soon as it goes back to itself, it just goes back a bit wonky again. So took me ages to cut it into this kind of square because it was so out of whack. It was a remnant that I got. I love going to fabric shops and just getting remnants. You know, you get that half a metre of this and you pick them up 50 cents or $1 or whatever else. They're great for covering your journals. And I've got so many different ones. So once again, I'm going to start with my middle one. But what I'm going to do is put that on there. Okay. You'd think it'd be just easier to go find my silicone mat, but in all honesty, I'm not quite certain where it is at the moment. And I should have thought of that first. Right, so if I stick them down there, it'll stop it sticking to this mat. Right. I've got my cut edge on that side. And frays, something chronic. I can get that to there. And at this stage, I'm just going to sit this on loosely. Press down on my spine. Turning it over. And working that fabric into this one to start with. Okay. As I said, this is how I do them. You might find there's a lot easier way out there. You might have an easier way to do it. If you do, by all means, share. But this is how I found works for me. Right. I know it's actually going to go on very nicely, that fabric. Doesn't move at all when it's on there. Look. That's awesome. Yep, pleased with that. All right. So now I'll work my way along my other ones. If I can get them off. One at a time. And I'm just going to sit that down there, and I'll sit that one on that one. Just again, stop it from sticking. I'm just using my thumb just to take out the air bubbles that I might get. But that's going, you can see the difference where it's not on the double-sided tape. And it's not moving at all. So yeah, look, I was really worried about this fabric. I loved it, but I was very, very worried about how it would come out. And so I'm rather wrapped in that. All right, next bit, loosely on, and then just flatten it over as I go. Nice. All right, now I'm going to go back and do the other side, which will be this one. Where am I going? This one, isn't it? And I'll do the same with this one as I did with the other one and cover those up. Got that piece, I've got that piece. All right. Gently lay it across and then smooth it out. It also means no glue, there's no drying time. You should know me by now. I have no patience and I'm not into drying time. And I also didn't look to see when it was I started. I think it was just before 3. This is the longest anyway. This is the hardest bit. It's hard. Can't really say that it's hard, but this is what takes the longest. Right. That's come up a treat. All right, so now I just want to measure and cut around this. So I just sit my ruler against it. I'll run a pencil line down there if it'll allow me. I used Taylor's chalk before. Oh no, I can see that. Now let's see if those scissors will actually still cut. Yes, they will. Right, and that piece will be put aside for my spine. Same on the other end. This one won't need much coming off it at all. No, and I might just trim that up. It won't need much off it, and all I'll do is just trim up. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Right. Just trim up some of that frayed edge. As I said, I'm putting coffee dyed paper inside it after I've sewn in my signatures. Right. That one's pretty good. That one might need a little bit more off it. Let's have a look. Just a little bit. Oh, that's wonky. That's wonky. All right. So we'll fold this bit over now. I'll get rid of these. Just going to use that to press on that. All right, that's one side. Right. That is now all done. So what I like to do now is my corners. You can see how well this is, or how not well, this is actually fraying. Alright, so my corners again, I'll use my grid. No, I've got, yeah, this is going to stretch way out. We'll do them as best we can. I'm going to put metal book corners on it anyway. So, we'll see out here. I thought it might have been a problem with this fabric. Usually I'm using calicos or linens or stuff like that. And this one was just a little bit different, but I fell in love with the colours. So, I want that straight. Straightish anyway. Yeah, look how well that stretches out of shape. Alright. The book corners will hide a multitude of sins and hold all that down, and then the coffee dyed paper, when I put that on at the end, it'll cover up to about there as well, so you won't see a lot of that. I've gone way out of whack there. What have I done there? Let's just bear with me. That's because it's not on the corner at all. And this is why we use book corners. Looks great on this side. Alright. And look, sometimes I can do bang on, spot on, perfect, and other times it'll go really wonky on me. That's got a bit of a dip in there. Let's just fold that. Straighten that. Alright, let's hope that one's not too far out. On this side. I hope I'm making sense. Where do I want to go? There. Oh. It's fairly straight. Alright, fold that one over. That one's better. It's this side. I've done it again. Got to watch that side. It's stretching. Left, right and centre is this stretching, this fabric. Right. Peel these ones off. Yeah, that's way out. God, I love book corners. They're not awesome. They're not awesome. Let's start from there this time. See if I can do that with this fabric instead. I knew I was going to have problems with this fabric. I'm going to put glue in there because that'll all be covered up anyway. Yeah, no. Never fails. If you're filming, that's when it's going to go awry. That's gone well and truly. Should have trimmed some of it. I was just too frightened that it was going to fray too much. Right, I'm just going to stick. See, and I don't like glue because it shows through, but as I'm going to put coffee dyed paper in there, I'm just going to hold that down while I... So this is just my fabric glue. coffee dyed paper should cover up to there anyway. It goes straight through most fabrics. So I don't know how well this fabric's even going to hold with that, actually, by the look of that. Nope, fabric's not even going to like this glue. Alright, we might get these signatures sewn in, and then I can put our book corners in and hide all of that. So our book corners, my book corners will sit in like that and hide all of that. My coffee dyed paper is going to come up to here anyway, so that will still work a treat. Right, let's get the signature sorted so that we can get all that bit done. Right, so here's my template for my hidden spine, which will now sit in here. This will all still close up. I'm going to trim that down a little bit, actually. I'm going to trim it down a little bit. The fabric's made it a little bit thicker, so I've got a knife here somewhere. I'm going to get rid of all of that double-sided tape stuff. All right, we'll just trim. It's not going to take much. I've already ruled up my lines, so this won't take too much out of that. With my lines, all I do to work out my sewing for my signatures, my hidden spine, this is about 1 inch wide as well. So again, I sit it on my grid. Okay, I go in 1/4 inch, I go in 1/4 inch, and I rule down. Then I make marks. I don't know if you can see that. This one's dead smack in the centre on each side because I've got 2 signatures. Depending on the amount of signatures you have will depend on how many of these you're putting in. I do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch whenever I do mine. So when I take this one down, I don't go dead smack in the centre. I take it down a little bit, but I don't want to go right up the top because usually in my signatures, like with this one, I'll have smaller bits as well. So you'll notice when this is in the centre, this is where my holes will be done, and this will cover this one as well. Whereas if I'd had them right up the top, I would have missed this and it would have only been hanging on by this middle one. Okay, so that's why I tend to do mine like that, because I invariably have smaller pages in there as well. If I've got them all the same size, I would probably take these holes up just a little bit further, but because I've got smaller pages in there all the time, I do that. Right, so this one, I also want to cover with that fabric, finding a straight part, so that when it goes in, you won't see the spine at all. And then I'm going to have coffee dyed paper that will sit in like that. Okay, that needs trimming down a little bit. They're larger than what I need at the moment. Okay, that makes sense. So I could have it. Quite often I will put these on first and then put my hidden spine in with that and have my fabric over the top there. But because this one frays so much, I need my edges covered. So that's the reasoning for that one. And my top bit, actually my top bit, I might, and it might be a good idea, just a zigzag stitch. I could make that a permanent feature, couldn't I? I could zigzag stitch across the top and down the sides, and then I can put it in after these. That would look all right, wouldn't it? All right, let's cut this to size first, top and bottom. because I'll need to, oh no, I can zigzag over the top of that, so I can still stick it on. That's fine. Once again, I'm going to use my double-sided tape, but I need to remember to stick all this on that side, not where I've got all my marks. And then I can trim all this off. All right, so I'll just trim around that. Ooh, I'm looking forward to seeing the zigzag stitch now. And I've got, yes, I've still got brown on my machine. I may need to turn my machine on. Let's have a look. Yep. Oh, it's plugged in and all. It is pushed back a little bit, but it won't take me long to whiz around it. And we'll go from there. Because, yes, I was sitting there when I was trimming up this fabric before, thinking, oh, this thing's going to fray like nothing else. I might have to put my coffee dyed pages over the top, but I think I like it this way better. And if I just zigzag it, it should hold it, shouldn't I? So if I do a smaller zigzag, more like an overlocking stitch, it'll stop it from fraying. That's the plan. Anyway, get rid of all that. Get rid of all that. Yuck. So sticky. So, I'm going to stick that on there. I could nearly have that extra, couldn't I? Let's just have a look and see where this goes. If this one sits in here, how wide do I want that fabric now? This is the question. Do I want it out about there? That wouldn't hurt, would it? Yeah, let's just stick to my ruler width. So if we go that side, that's about there. We're going, I'll trim that off in a minute actually. Might just stick you on and then trim. Right. Stick one side down here because I'm actually going to zigzag over that spine. Yes, oh, for a while there I thought I'd done it on the wrong side. It's all right. As you were. About that? Right. And I promised myself no sewing today. Sorry. Trim this one up just a tad to make it straighter, or straight as I can do it whilst holding it in the air, looking at it over the top of my glasses. The concentration, oh my lord. Right, so just bear with me and I'll move this. That's another project I was just working on. Shuffle that over. All right, and I'll very quickly zigzag round this one. I'm thinking about this. I've got different zigzag stitches on just a scrap piece so that I know where I want my sewing machine. It's just a good idea so that I can very quickly jump in. So 3 and 8 length, go down. I want my width at 3. Right, let's see how well this goes. We can only but try. So, sorry about the gap now and that I'm not there. Oh, and what did I do first up? Broke the 3. Bear with me. Bear with me. And this is where you work out you can't see. I am hopeless at threading my machine these days. Oh, look at that. It tangled big time. Big threads. Let's just go in, go up, get it out. Right. Shall we try again? Without killing this fabric. Right. Pull my foot out. Yeah, that's better. That's better. It is a long process because I'm doing a small stitch to really get it in. And you'll hear me go over that chipboard in a moment. Another good reason why I didn't use a really thick chipboard, I'm assuming. Alright. Oh, that's going to be a different look anyway. Right, here we go over that chipboard. I have a horrible feeling that that's not sewing. I don't think it likes the chipboard. Nope. I don't think it likes the chipboard. Well, it was a good idea at the time. I don't think it's having a fun time though. We might have to go back to our first one. All right, because that's just silly. There and there, and I'll trim it back off there. That's just a bit sad. I'm going to have to do something about those though. What am I going to do about that? So maybe I deliberately fray it at the top. Signatures. Bugger. Oh, I dropped something. Signatures there. That's going to go in there. So, alright, I want, oh, I've done it again. Got brown on that, just to get rid of the colour of the chipboard. I love this fabric. It's just hopeless. Might do that. And I might do that. Thinking. That might work, mightn't it? All right, let's do that. If I just give that a mitered corner down there. So all I want for that is a little piece of that, I'm thinking. like so. All right, now let's see if we can get the backing off this one. Right, that'll work. That'll work. You've just got to find new ways to work it. Right. Better hurry up and sew these signatures in, Kylie. It has been nearly an hour. This fabric. I'll tell you. Remind me to always just double check my remnants in future. Right. Yep, that'll work. So it was being nice and came off for me that time. Right. Then I better get in and see what I've done to my machine in a moment. This will sit in here like that. Yep. Right. So now we've got all that done, we're going to sew in our signatures. So first things first, I need my awl, and I will make my holes, give them a little bit of a stir so that you can get your needle through. Through each of them. Right, so with my signatures, I know that I've got, putting them up the right way, I'll make sure that they're all nicely aligned first. See, I've got quite a few of these smaller ones in here. Make sure they're all nicely sitting together. Now, sometimes when I'm making journals, I will make my cover and sew my signatures in, and other times when I'm doing them, I do them like this, where I make all my signatures, have it all done, and then sew them together. What I want now is a clip in there to hold those ones in place. You're not going to reach, so we better get a paper clip. Better get a paper clip we can actually get the lid off too. Right, like so. Pushing them in. Now, when I've done my template, I've gone halfway down the page, and then I've gone 2 1/4 inches from the center. So this one's 2 1/4. So this is what I'll do for this one. So I need to get my center point for these, because these are not quite as long as my actual book cover. So these ones are 7 inches. So half of that, of course, is 3 1/2. I'll make a mark, and then I want to go 2 1/4 inches down, which is dead on there, poo, and 2 1/4 inches up. So that one Can actually go down a little bit, can't it? And we'll remark that so that he's not right on there. 2 1/4, a little bit further. Right. So 2 1/4 and 2 1/4. I'm sorry, you probably can't see that because I've got it resting on me. And 2 1/4. All right, so I have what I call my prick mat. So it's a really dense piece of foam. I just sit that underneath it. I'll hold my book like so, which keeps all my pages down. Put my awl in where my center point is. Put it in so that it goes all the way through. Give it a bit of a stir. You want to make it so that your needle will go through. So there's one. My second one is here. Again, putting it all the way through. Give it a little bit of a stir. And then going up to the top one. Now this is my second signature. All the way through. Right, so those. And don't you love it when you turn it around and your holes are dead smack on that. So now we'll do our other one and then we can sew them in. Just making sure that they're all nicely lined up. Yep, my tongue's crossed again. Big concentration's working on this bit. All right, that one may need to move. We'll see how we go. Back to the paper clips, which just holds all your papers in place. Right, so same thing with this one. So we know that it's 7 inches. So I want a halfway mark at 3.5, which is there, which I can see. Go down to my little one because it's easier. So 2 1/4. Yep, this one must have been bigger. In there. And 2 1/4, back up from our centre line. And in there. All right, same thing with our awl again. Pokey tool, whatever you've got, use what you've got. Make a hole with it with a sharp, pointy tool. If you don't, a large needle will work as well. There it is. And then the only thing you need to really make sure is that you've got them up the right way, or both of them up the same way when you put them in your book. At this stage, my book can be turned around either way with the front cover. But you need to make sure that both of them are up the right way. Right, and there's that one. These will be sewn on like so. So we'll get some thread. Oh, and I found some lovely black twine yesterday. So, now it's American Crafts, and they call it jute. But, look at it. Oh, I think that would make the most perfect. And I want the black. It's nice and strong. So, yes. So, 1, 2, 3. A little bit for good measure. just because I can. And I want a needle. Actually, that might go through that one. This one's an easier needle to use because it's a thinner needle, but I really didn't think that jute would go through it. But look at that. It does. It does. Right. So, because I've got a hidden spine, I can either sew from the back and have it all completely hidden, or I can start from here and have some dangles, which is what I usually like to do. So starting in my center hole, and the same with this one. Now, this is my first signature. That one's the second signature. So we want to go, oh, look, and I can just see the holes in that. There it is there, close to. There it is. And going through that one. Pulling it through. Leaving some there. Going back through this one. If you find it's easier, take it through first and then take it back through these ones. If your paper clips are doing the job, it should go straight through. Look at that. First bit's always the worst because you've got to try and hang on to it all. Got my thumb on that one. Right. Down to this one. Through. And also you can just see the hole somewhere. There it is. There it is. Back through that one. Need to get that out. Get myself a bit more there. Pull that tight. And then back through your center hole without actually going through the jute. Can't see anything. I might need to turn on the overhead light. Probably should have turned that on before I started. I'm just going to lift that up and go through that one first. Might make it a bit easier, then find my hole. Oh. Oh no, there it is. That's not through that jute, so that's fine. Take that one under that one. Pull this one through. Tighten them all up. Like so. And tie them. The jute might not be strong enough then. Right, I might need... Let's have a look at that. No, it is. It's through. I might put a stitch of glue on there. I'm doing really well today, aren't I? So, 1, 2, 3. That's why it's so dark. It's pouring with rain again. I'm going to have to turn on that overhead light. Sorry, hang on. Yep, hang on. I'll turn on that light. That better? Oh yes, that's heaps better. At least I can see now. Alright. Alright. So same. That's that one, which is our first one. Now we've got our second one, which is where? There. Making sure it's up the right way. Yes. Through my centre bit first. Don't pull it quite so tight this time, Kylie. And to that one. All right. Up here. You're through. You're through. Take that off. Oh, as I said, found this twine yesterday. Found it at Create on Ormond in Geelong in Victoria. It's an American Crafts twine, and she just got them in. Oh, and the colours were just divine in it. So of course I went for black. Well, I was looking at this, doing this journal, so that's my excuse, wasn't it? But yeah, I'm going to have to get, oh, the most beautiful sage green in it. It was just lovely. So I'm going to have to go back and get some more. They weren't expensive, I don't know, a couple of bucks or something like that. So yeah, I'm very excited with it. All right. Where do I need to tighten that? That one. Just that one. He's on that side. Come through. Oh, just need a drink. Sorry. Right. Come through that way. Yeah, not spooning out. And up to that one. Am I on the other side? I am now. Oh, sorry. Tickle. Talking too much today, I reckon. Now this time we'll go carefully. Tighten all that up. There's that one. I will refix that one. That's tight. That's tight. That's tight. Well, once I've sewn that in, that one needs remending. There's my signatures. That will be tightened up, and I'll glue that in. Do love this twine though. Do love this twine. Right, not really tight this time, Kylie. Okay, and take that off, take that off, take that off. This one I need to tighten up because I've killed it. So I can do that on this side, like so. And I'm going to use that I use that to tighten it down. Oh, sticky, sticky, sticky. It's tight. That's tight. Now, normally I wouldn't need to do this, but because that thread broke, I need to attach it back in so that it's not going to go anywhere. Lovely. That one out, that one out, that one out, and that one out. I'm wondering, just going to give that a really good push down, because I actually want to glue this in. So the double-sided tape for this one is literally just to hold on to that thread. Right, and I'm going to use my Elmar 450, which is stronger, I feel, which is what I use for my fabric ones. I will need to wait for it, of course, to dry, but that's fine. I'm just going to completely cover this. So lots of glue. That bit in the middle's got then the double thing of glue and double-sided tape, hasn't it? Right. So now, once again, making sure I've got that up the right way. It helps having those words there. And this time, all I'm going to do is I can line this bit up with my centre here. Doing the same at this end. That bit and that bit. So I'm pushing that down. Making sure that folds up. That folds up. That's finished that off beautifully. And then what I like to do is with my ruler between the two signatures and just give it a really good push. So I'm just going between the signatures. Oh, I'm really upset about those corners. That's shocking. Needed to have cut them. That's bad, Kylie. That's bad. Right. So this will now have my coffee dyed paper. That's all done. That's all done. I've done it again. I've got tape on that side. Right. Now we'll use the coffee dyed paper and that'll stick that down. So I want that to sit in here like so. And I'm thinking, where's that at? That is it there. So it needs to be trimmed back to about there. About there. And it needs to be in length about that. Okay. So that one and that one. That should do it. I have got to put something on there before I really ruin this. I don't know, I might take a little bit more off that. Just a smidge. And if I go that way, yep, that clears where that folds. Beautiful. Right, so all I'm doing is just using this to stick that down, and then I will glue my paper. Right. Looks like a little breakfast. Oh, that. Right. So, now I can see where I'm going. That'll sit in there nicely and cover all that. Because I've got so much fabric on that, I'm actually going to use the double-sided tape on this and then glue in the centre. Like so. So I like double-sided tape for the most part. There. Once it's down though. You can't rearrange. Okay? You just need to get used to that bit. But it will hold all that fabric down. And it's the last time I ever work on fabric like that. I'm telling you now. There will be no more of that fabric. It'll teach me. Use my bits up. Scungy, isn't it, Kylie? Ah, well. Ah, well. Oh, so stuck with everything. All right. Put another little bit in there. I was about to say, see, it comes off paper so much easier. But not necessarily. Right. Now, I'm not actually going to take that bit off just yet, because I want to work on these. If I go to the centre one first, then I can play with these. What have I got? I've got the drawer out. It's okay. And with any luck, my book corners will cover the rest. What do you reckon? What a dog's breakfast, Kylie. Right. It's starting to bulk up a little bit now. So we'll go this side. Stick that fabric down first. Trim that in half. And then we can decorate. Yay! And then it's all done and dusted. Who'd have ever thought that it was going to happen? This little black duck. Right, hold you up. I want it to actually open out, and I'd put it too far in. That's better. So it still goes in. Give it a good squash, but it still opens out. Right, so this is my front. Yep, this is the front. We've just decided that. Oh, Kylie, and you've got that one on your front. Okay, so this one is the front. I like it that way, so I need to trim that back like the other one. So I think it ended up being about 4 3/4. Yes, that takes it just to the spine and in there. And lengthwise, we want to take it to about there, don't we? Right. Almost done. Right, this one's going to go in here like so. That'll still close. Yep, beautiful. Right. We'll cover this one. Set that for my last bit. What have we been? How long have we been? Oh, it's an hour and a half. Oh, I knew it was going to be long. It didn't matter how well I prepared for this one. I knew it was going to be long. Because we're covering, sewing, and I'd really like to decorate the front. I know what I want to do with the front. Maybe I just sit them all on there without actually adhering them. I can show you that way, and the end photo will show it to you, just so that you're not hanging around forever. That's bad. Hour and a half already. That's really bad. Sorry. Okay. That's right. You've got a fast forward button, so it's called going out with a bang for this journal. How's that? This journal that was going to be a start to finish journal in 1, maybe 2 parts. And what's this? Part 6? Yeah. Bad. Take that back. Oh. Well, for those of you that are still with me, thank you very much for coming along for the journey. And it has been a big journey, this album. All because I saw a paper pack and had to have it. That's just sad. It was such a beautiful paper pack though, and I'm still in love with it. I still love this paper pack. It was and is one of the most beautiful ones I've seen. So I'm still happy with it. I think the album's come up a treat. I'm happy with that as well. So I hope you've all enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed the colours, the paper range, what we've done to it, and hope you've found a few new tricks along the way. Right. Let's start with this one. So it's got more tape on it, since I want to cover all of those. So once again, we'll start in the centre. That should be about there. Straight, not quite straight. No, she's straight now. Oh, that one's really bad. Right. Right. No, that's not straight at all, Kylie. See, now I'm rushing. That's my problem. Right. We'll stick some book corners on the front, show you the book corners, and then get these other ones. Oh, I have to find them now. All right, so I've just got plain little book corners that are going to go in there and finish that off. And from that side, it's going to hide all that as well. So I've got my pliers here, and what I've really got is a really, really, really big mess. All right, so we just need to pull these ones open a little bit, depending on what sort of one you're doing and what you've got attached to, will depend on whether you need to open them out a little bit. All right, that'll get it back in there properly and over that. Now, what I also find, I'll use this, is I will put a little bit of fabric over it, because my pliers have got that ridge. If you're not careful, it will leave marks on your book corner. All right. One. Look, you can't even see that hideous corner now. Two down the bottom. Need to just undo these ones a little bit again. You get lots of different book corners, from ornate, very ornate ones to plainer ones. These are just plain ones. I find that they tend to go with most things that I'm doing. Oh, didn't put my... So you can see there's little scratches on there, and that's why you put fabric on it. Right, so there's our book corners very quickly, very, very quickly, and then we'll say goodbye. Right, I've got my bits, because all the way through I said I want to use these guys on my cover. So here's my cover. What I want to do is I want this one up here. So again, I'll need my fabric glue for these. I need to get off the bit that's sitting at the top. Yuck. Right. I want this one up here. Like so. Find my... Oh, I've got some paper towel there. That'll work. Right. I want this one over that. I want this one in here. I want down there, so I want that one brought up a little bit. And then I've got a little label that I've stamped the label and then stamped numbers on it to go down there like that. Okay, so 5 seconds, we'll stick those on and then we can say goodbye to our 49 and Market journal. I'll have a few things that I need to fix up on it before I put it up for sale. So, and then the extra tags and bits and pieces will all go in it as well to do with whatever you want with it. But yeah, there'll be a few things to fix up. I want that there like that. Oh, raining again. Oh, what a day. All right. And you know I've already got 2 more paper pads down here busting to go for another journal because it's not my fault. They keep putting out beautiful papers. I've got Stamperia Sir Vagabond in Japan, I think is what it's called from memory, that I'm just, oh, I can't wait to get it stuck into that one. And that's just all background papers. And I've also got a Studio Light one here that I got quite a while ago that's waiting to be done. So I need to put that one up just a little bit because I want exercise 183 to actually show in that. Oh, mind you, I think it's going to take me a month of Sundays to actually clean up this mess. Right, that one, this one, and we're just about done. Oh, listen to that rain. All right. And then like that. I always knew what I wanted to do with the cover. I knew I wanted that frame and I knew I wanted that little boy. So, and then I've just got this little label. A little bit of glue on that one. And this has just been stamped, as I said. I've just stamped a label stamp on that on some cream handmade paper and then stamped Tim Holtz number on it. Just in there like that. There we go. It's done. As I said, there's a few things I need to finish off. So glad you could join me on this very long-winded journey. Thank you so much for sticking with it. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye.